Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Wow, Mondays absolutely blow when your football team blows. There's no doubt about it. My coffee doesn't taste the same. And you know me, I need my cup of joe to be what starts my day off right. So when it tastes like this, I'm not happy. I'm definitely not happy, and I'm fired up still today. Last night on the post-game reaction, I lost my damn mind. I was cursing left and right, F-bomb flying, slipping, and I allowed it to happen because you know what? That shows the raw emotion. That is how I was feeling at the time. And it takes me a lot to get to that level. I get annoyed. I get bothered with a lot of things that happens in this town when it comes to sports. But for it to be intensified the way that it was, I wanted you to hear that. I wanted you to hear what level I was at when it came to frustration. Now, as I added on, it wasn't just the game that fired me up. I recorded an entire podcast, and as soon as I was about to hit end, boom, I lost the whole thing. So that added gasoline to the fire. But I thought it was natural, and I wanted you to hear that. I don't feel like it's something I'm consistently going to do. Like, I wake up the next morning, and it's almost like, ooh, do I regret that a little bit? You go out, you go to the bar, you think she's a 10, you wake up, it's more like a 3. And you think, uh-oh, did I regret that a little bit? That's where I'm at mentally. But whatever, here we are. It happened. Let's move forward. By the way, we are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. It's the day after podcast. Very simple. We react to your phone calls. The Anytime Hotline, 856-442-9805. I haven't heard these. What I'm expecting, though, is something very similar to how I feel. A head coach that had such a horrendous game plan when he had 2 weeks to come up with it. That was awful! Now, I am acknowledging that there are so many problems with this team. I thought the quarterback played bad. And there's so many people out there actually looking at Carson Wentz saying, he didn't really play that bad. Dude, Carson Wentz was not good. We cannot lower the bar to look at yesterday's performance and say, it wasn't that bad, actually. No. Carson Wentz was bad. He was. Was he the reason why they lost? No. But he wasn't the reason why they won. And that's the type of quarterback you need out of Carson Wentz. That's why you have Wentz. He puts you in a position to win. He wasn't going up against Tom Brady and lost, or Drew Brees and lost, or Aaron Rodgers and lost, or Russell Wilson and lost. It was Daniel frickin' Jones, who had a nice game. But Carson Wentz is there to help you win, not to, well, he didn't cost you the game. No, I am not sinking down to that level. Carson Wentz was not good. Where's this defensive line that we pay? Nowhere to be found. Javon Hargrave, what the hell is that signing? Where's that defensive front? That offensive line sucked. Jim Schwartz sucked. The quarterback sucked. So many people sucked. But it came down to how they prepared for the game. It was lost in the meeting rooms. It was lost in the conference rooms. And I can't be okay with that. It's easier to swallow the pill if they had a costly fumble or if they had a bad throw and their game plan made sense, but they made a mistake that costed them the game. I'm not saying it's an easy pill to swallow, but it's an easier pill to swallow than you just being in a position to fail right from the opening kickoff. It kills me inside thinking about what we just witnessed, what we just sat through, and hell, what we have left. I've never been in a position where I am now anticipating such trash football to the point where I'm looking down at the weeks going, oh, I can't wait for it to be over. That's a serial killer mentality. Somebody who's waiting for the football season to end. If somebody feels that way, I feel they're a serial killer. Because nobody feels that way. Well, when you get this type of football, guess what? My brain starts heading in that direction, which is nuts. All right, let's kick off these calls. I can't wait. I am anticipating a ton of fired up people, lots of phone calls, lots of reaction, and I love every second of it. Here we go.
What the hell was that? We're fucking terrible. Doug Pederson is fucking terrible. Carson Wentz is fucking terrible. Hell, even Darius Slay was fucking terrible. This team doesn't want to win. It is fucking awful to watch. Week 10, and I'm fucking sick of it. I can't do it anymore. My blood pressure can't take it. Fuck you.
Look, now, if I'm going to allow yesterday's performance by me to stand out there and to stay out there, I think this is a week where I let the F-bombs fly. So if you're going to call in and feel that way, if I allowed myself to do it, I'm going to have to allow you to do it. Sometimes I beep it out. Sometimes the producer at 97.3 ESPN, Josh Henning, gets all the calls and he edits them and sends them back, which he does a phenomenal job every single day there at 97.3, producing the show and keeping everything going, keeping the lights on, if you will. So sometimes they're blanked out. Today, look, you feel that way. By all means, you're entitled to feeling that way. This is a game where you lose 27-17 to the New York Giants. And I think we all saw that the Giants were trending in the right direction. They were fighting hard for Joe Judge, and that team was fighting hard. But for Jim Schwartz to get abused by Jason Garrett, that's unacceptable. It really is. The players, they got to do a better job as well. You need to be more effective in the defensive front. You succeed when that happens. Malik Jackson, that 3rd and 8, jumps off sides, 3rd and 3, leads to a touchdown. How are we making mental mistakes like that? 11 penalties, double-digit penalties, all over the map. Disciplined. When you don't get a lot of penalties, what do you say? Well, the coaching staff has that team disciplined. So it's only right when things go in the other direction, you look at the top dogs. Don't even get me started with the special teams and the lack of punt returning. And Doug Pederson's decisions in game. Jalen Hurts here. 4th and 10. Jalen Reagor one-on-one with their best corner. I mean, how dumb can you be? I never see this coaching staff target the failures of the other team. That's coaching 101. All right, it is. It's coaching 101. Jason Garrett knows to do that. Jason Garrett knows how to fool this defense. And shame on Jim Schwartz for not acknowledging that they were going to do that. And if he did, and he told the fellas what to do all week long, all 2 weeks long, they didn't do it. And it goes back to, well, discipline. Make sure your players are disciplined. Make sure when Daniel Jones has the ball and he's doing the read option, you have a defensive end who's coming around the end, containing, just in case, or making sure, you make sure either Daniel Jones has the ball or not. But here he goes, getting to the second level, not even being touched. Unbelievable.
Hey, Brodes, yeah, this is Louis. I live in Colorado, but I'm born and raised in South Philadelphia. Eagles are my team. I bleed green. I'm watching this Giant game. You know what? Kill. That's all that Carson says. He don't want to listen to the coach. And some of them plays will work, but he's changing them hero ball, I guess. And Doug Pederson, he needs an offensive coordinator because he's lost out there too. These two guys got to go back to school and learn how to listen and do things right. I don't know the outcome of the game, but But that's my opinion.
All right, well, look, the kill thing, Carson Wentz does scream that. Now, he has the option to do it. If I'm Doug Pederson, if I see Carson Wentz continuing to do things that I don't feel is helping the football team or I don't think is the right move, then as the head coach, I have the power, and I would say, yo, Carson, you can't be doing that. Now, I don't know if I'm on the same level as you in terms of, Carson's never allowed to kill a play or he's not allowed to do certain things. Look around the league. You are entitled to doing that as a quarterback. So you can't just take away all of that power. You need to trust in your QB to read the defense properly, to make the right play. And yeah, obviously, Carson Wentz is not doing a great job of that this season. So with that being said, I don't know if I should be mad at Carson Wentz in that scenario or pissed off that Doug Pederson just allows for that to happen. At some point, if it continues to hurt the team at such an elite pace, then that's when you just can't even make it an option. It's sort of like Jalen Reagor in that play yesterday, 4th and 10, with the game on the line. Afterwards, Doug Pederson kind of alluded to, hey, maybe that was Carson Wentz's decision and Carson Wentz's read. Well, obviously, Doug, you put that play out there for a reason. You had that matchup there for a reason. You were okay with that matchup, or else it wouldn't have even been a play designed for Jalen Reagor. It wouldn't have even been a spot for Jalen Reagor to be in at if you didn't feel some sort of way about it. So it can all go back to the head coach. All can go back to Doug P. That's not saying that anyone else gets a free pass. Wentz sucked. Schwartz sucked. Defensive line, corner sucked. Players sucked. When it gets to this degree, though, you look at why. Why did they come out so flat? Why did it look so horrendous? How were they prepared? And it all goes back to Dougie P. Unfortunately for him.
All right, just a couple bullet points here. First of all, for any YouTube videographer / commenter that thinks that this Eagles team is going to go on some kind of miracle run and rip off wins against the Saints, the Cardinals, the Packers, etc., I'll have some of what you're having. Second of all, for all the bashing that Jim Schwartz gets, and rightfully so, Doug Pederson, in my opinion, should be fired at the end of this game. I mean, you're running the ball at will, and you get away from it. You're moving the ball, and you put Jalen Hurts out there. When everybody that's got 10% vision left knows that he's going to run it. And what is this guy's infatuation with going for 2-point conversions? Why don't you just cut Jake Elliott and free up a roster spot if you don't want to use a kicker? Look, I don't know what this guy's doing as a coach, and the scary part is I don't think he knows what he's doing either.
I think you're absolutely right. You can sense that when he's speaking to the media, body language, facial expressions. He's lost. He is lost as a head coach. Now, in terms of him being fired right now on the spot, look, as frustrated as I am with a lot of people in this city, with a lot of sports teams in Philadelphia, I'm not the one to just instantly say, get rid of everybody every time a bad game occurs. Now, this is a sample size of a 9-game season. That's very irritating. He's been here for a couple of years. Every year they're down 5. Their record is 5-7, 4-6. They fight back. Rah, 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 rah. And I keep stressing that the ending results, they're good because you're making the playoffs. But this isn't a recipe that you can continue to go down and think that it will satisfy everybody, because it will get tiring, and you can't put your team in this position every single year and think you're just going to dig yourself out of it. These NFL teams are good. They're strong. They don't allow for you to do this year in and year out. At some point, it has to stop. It's not about the underdog mask. You got to be smarter when your team isn't with their backs against the wall. You got to put yourself in a position to actually have success before you need to put on that damn stupid dog mask. And here we are again. We're in the same spot. But you mentioned everything that got me so mentally drained. running the football. It was working. 8.1 yards per rush. And I know that's not something you are going to keep up all the time. And it's funny, I was texting Jeff Mosher of Inside the Birds about it. I would like a little bit more running. And he said, hey, you never really win, though. He said, yes, you could have run it a little more, but you don't really win when you run the ball more than you pass. Like, he thought people were overblowing the whole, hey, you need to run the football more yesterday. And I said, Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, they ran the ball 40-plus times a couple weeks ago and only passed it 27? Of course, I had to be a little bit of a douche and take a screenshot. We started laughing as if, one time, so now you have all the support you needed. Well, guess what? But look, you could have done it more, no doubt. 8.1 yards per rush. It was effective. You could argue that Boston Scott could have had a little bit more touch as well. Him and Miles Sanders, every time the ball was in their hands, it was effective. And Jalen Hurts, this package sucks. It blows. It's terrible. Stack the box. How can we all see this? Every time he's in the game, stack the box. If I'm Lori, if I'm Howie Roseman, I don't know how I sit there and watch this package and not want to smack Doug Pederson in the face after the game. Hey, Doug, what are you doing out there? I get using Hurts when things maybe aren't rolling so perfectly, which unfortunately would be every single damn play at this point. But let's say the offense has rhythm and then it stalls out for a drive and then you're trying to get some motor with it again. You're trying to get the motor going. Hey, let's plug in Hurts here. Let's use him as a little how do you do here, a little spark plug here. Okay, I'm for it. But this is when Carson was actually on a rhythm. That's why I say Doug Pederson has no feel. He really doesn't. He doesn't have a feel for the game. If you're a play caller without a feel for the game, you're screwed. It's that simple. You're screwed. Damn.
And that's going to be all she wrote. We just turned over on downs around the 2-minute warning on our own side of the field. I don't know if we got a single third-point conversion in that whole game. Pretty disgusting. We were consistently behind the sticks, making it third and completely impossible or fourth and completely impossible. We had some pretty good showings, specifically that third quarter, but nothing is sustained, and that's the problem with this team. Flashes of excellence, flashes of disgusting slop, and more consistently it's slop, and more consistently we're losing games, and it's just bad. Jim Schwartz and the defense were a disaster in the zone early in the game. Brought it back a little bit later, but it was just too much. I mean, you let out 27 points. That's not a good showing.
It's not, especially to the worst offense in football. That's another issue. The Giants are not a good football team offensively. They don't have Saquon Barkley, which is a huge loss. They lost Devontae Freeman. Yeah, you know what? Darius Slayton and Shepard and Tate, that's a nice trio, but it's not anything overwhelming to the point where you really gotta focus. No, they're good wide receivers, but they're not Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Antonio Brown level. You should be able to handle business, especially when Daniel Jones was the one throwing the rock. Well, with the way the corners were playing in this one, he looked like Peyton Manning in his prime. That throw to Shepard against Avonte Maddox, or that throw to Golden Tate over Roby Coleman. Roby Coleman is a horrendous football player. All right, he really is. Shame on us to get sucked into, we got the best slot corner in the damn league. Every single year in every sport, we hype ourselves up way too much, and it has to stop. It has to stop. You know what? I have to do a better job as well, and I think moving forward, that's exactly what we're going to do. This is happening, okay? It's what, November 16th. This is the date that I realize we're going in a different direction when it comes to hyping up squads entering a season and talking about certain things to an elite degree. Now, No. I'm going to start questioning moves more than I am appreciating moves because we get fooled left and right. This is a bad football team. They're giving us a bad product every Sunday. It's a miserable, dreadful watch, and I don't know how much longer I can continue to do this. It eats me alive. It's killing me. It really is. It's going to be the death of me. Now, what's not going to be the death of me? Grooming incidents in the shower. And why is that, you ask? Well, because of the Lawnmower 3.0 that Manscaped can provide. You have a ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology, which helps reduce these grooming accidents that occur. Autumn is in the air, and Manscaped is here to ensure that you don't carve your pumpkins when you're grooming. By pumpkins, we actually mean your boys downstairs. In fact, Manscaped is on a mission to change the way you approach caring for your balls. And great news, they just released their products in the UK, Canada, and Australia. They also have their new Weed Whacker, which is the ears and nose hair trimmers, which uses the same skin-safe technology. They have the Crop Care Kit, which includes the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. Everybody knows pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant goes hand in hand. Body wash, ball wipes, hair and body wash, you name it. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I use all of these products, and when I tell you they are tremendous, they are absolutely 100% tremendous. All right, let's kick off the next phone call.
I really don't understand what's going on with the Eagles, man. Like Carson Wentz, the decision making is horrible, man. And Doug's play calling is just it's horrendous. Like he bringing Jalen Hurts on an obvious read option. The whole world knew the play. The whole world knew what was going on. Carson Wentz, he throws behind the player back. He throws it too high, or it's either at the ground or he like I don't understand. Like
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. It's frustrating to watch him. When Carson Wentz has the time in the pocket, it's like, okay, hold on, maybe something will happen. Shame on me for getting stuck down that road, because what does he do? He throws it 6,000 feet too high, and the receiver or tight end has no possible chance of going up and grabbing the football. There are so many times where he is flat out just messing up. But I did see this tweet. I'm going to pull it up now. I retweeted it this morning. By the way, you can follow me on Twitter at Brodes81. Always a good follow. I tweet during the games. I throw some humor in there. Go ahead, toss a follow. But Dan Orlovsky said, it took until 7:16 left in the third quarter for the Eagles to get their quarterback outside of the pocket in back-to-back plays. 40 yards of offense. Never called it again. Absolutely the definition of hard-headed. See, that's my point when it comes to this Doug Pederson thing. You see something that works. First off, we knew it was working prior to this game, yet somehow you don't use it until so deep into the football game. Please, someone let me know how that even goes into somebody's brain. You know what Carson is good at. See, that's what shows me. Does Doug Pederson know what Carson's good at? They are putting this kid in a spot to fail. They are putting him in a situation where it doesn't suit him best. Carson Wentz is phenomenal rolling out of the pocket, using his legs, throwing on the run, extending the play that way. And you saw it in back-to-back plays generating offense. So why do you go back to that? Why don't you go back to that? Why does it take so long for you to even get to that moment? You should already know, okay? It's been 4.5 seasons. You should already know that this is something he succeeds in, and he's been failing in other areas. So that's why I question the preparation side of things. And guess what? That plays such a hefty role on the outcome. At the end of the day, it's one of the big reasons why they lose.
You know, I completely saw this loss coming, but I'm more disappointed in the fact that we had 2 weeks prepared for this game, and it seems like we didn't make any adjustments whatsoever. And I think it's pretty evident now that Doug Pederson needs to have his play calling duties stripped from him immediately. That was one of the worst called games I've ever watched in my entire life. Going for 2 after that second touchdown was stupid. And in retrospect, it completely changed the game. And you know what the worst part about this loss is? We are still in first place.
I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything about being in first place. The play calling duties has been a hot topic of discussion without a doubt. Where do I stand on it? I wouldn't be against it. I just don't know what the alternative is going to be. Morningweg, Rich Gangarello. Definitely not putting a lot of stock into Press Taylor. I don't have a lot of faith in anybody else. But here's reality. This isn't working, right? It's the classic, well, you know what? I don't know if TJ Edwards or Alex Singleton's going to work, but I know Nate Gary doesn't work. It's that philosophy. I'm seeing that Doug Pederson doesn't work. Can anyone do a better job? And while you had spurts of excitement over the last couple of weeks of Singleton, Edwards, when you get that many snaps, when you're not supposed to get that many snaps, it shows, right? You're starting to see that they do not have enough of that position. Some get into this belief that, whoa, Singleton's good and Edwards is good. You give them enough time, you'll see their flaws. They're good in specific scenarios, limited snaps. If those are the guys you're rocking with, you're going to be put in such a bad spot. And you're seeing that. You're seeing Daniel Jones getting to the second level with ease. I couldn't believe it. Untouched, essentially, getting into the end zone. And he should have had two. Should have had two. If you didn't have that call on Thomas, who was holding Josh Sweat. Oh, man.
What's up, bros? It's Q from Virginia. I'm calling in because, man, plain and simple, man, I said it before, I'll say it again. This is supposed to happen. When you continue to do the same thing and expect different results, that is a definition of insanity. This Philadelphia Eagles training staff, this organization from a top-down perspective has been insane. And we have been failing our franchise QB. We have a Ferrari, and we're putting peanut oil in the gas tank and asking why isn't it running. This is a team that almost beat us 2 weeks ago, so I'm not surprised they beat us now. When you draft a 5'10" wide receiver in the first round with Justin Jefferson on the board, when you don't give up a first-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins just to draft this 5'10" wide receiver, when you do not go out and get any secondary help that is substantial enough besides Darius Slay, when you have a GM who has been really just giving out legacy contracts to old and washed-up talent, this is what is going to happen. So all the fans who are like, oh, this is on Carson, this is on this and that. No, this is a seed that has been sprouting for a long time.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I do think that when you take a really broad approach to this, you take a bunch of steps back. No, not really a broad approach, but you take a step back and you look at the entire organization. Yes, you can date this all the way back to mistakes that Howie's made. I don't like the criticism on Jalen Reagor just because Justin Jefferson had some explosive moments. He also had some bad football games too, Justin Jefferson. And that football team is not playing well just because they have Justin Jefferson. I don't like, and I'm not knocking him, by the way. I don't think it's fair to write off Jalen Reagor is my point, because I think the kid can play, and you're just assuming that he can't because, well, he had a thumb surgery, his thumb was hanging on. Like, come on. I mean, that's a big part of catching the football, and there's so much room for him. You can't really have an opinion on Jalen Reagor to this point. Hopkins was never an issue. Hopkins, to me, that was never a real possibility. Like, yeah, Bill O'Brien made a huge mistake making that trade, but who's to say that Howie Roseman missed out on that because Bill O'Brien made such a boneheaded decision sending him to Arizona? Then you got to factor in a ton of money going to him. And sure, and then once again, if you want to look at the big picture and take a bunch of steps back, are they in a bad spot financially because of Howie? Yes and no. I mean, he is one of the best ever when it comes to manipulating the cap, so I think you'd be surprised when he's going to get out of this funk because he seems to do it over and over again. We've been saying that you're in cap hell in Philadelphia for 20 years, and he consistently gets himself out of this, so there is something to be said about that. The Hopkins thing, it wasn't like Hopkins slipped away. It was never really something to get that emotionally upset about because Bill O'Brien just made a decision to get rid of him and moved him to Arizona. It wasn't like he was on the trade block for 5 days and every team was getting their call-ins and Howie just missed out. But I get your point. Yes, this is an organizational terrible situation that all starts with Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. And what I want to do is go back and look at the recent drafts and see where everyone is now, because J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's a healthy scratch, while you have Jalen Hurts giving you a couple plays and negative yards, and that's your second-round picks. And then keep in mind, Sidney Jones, there's another second-round pick. You're not getting a lot of help out of those pieces, but you are getting help out of Goddard, Sanders, which are second-round pieces. So, I kind of want to take a dive back into the last 3-4 years of the draft and really dissect where these players are right now, because I do think there's something to be said about where this organization has put this team to this point. This is a seed, as you said.
Well, Eagles lost to the Giants. I guess this is how our season's going. We're most likely going to endure 5 weeks of getting the complete crap beating out of us. And we're probably going to have to hope the Giants, Washington, or the Cowboys haven't won enough games where they're either ahead or caught up to us. And we just have to win the last 2 games of the season and see what happens.
I can't go there. Honestly, I can't. With all due respect, I can't think about the division, winning the division, what teams the Giants are going to beat or the Cowboys are going to beat. I just can't. All I know is I'm not having fun. And when I'm not having fun, I'm worried about that. We need to fix that issue. Whatever the Giants do, the Cowboys do, whatever. I don't care. I want to see better football. I want to see a better product. If we're going to win the division and get this same product, guess what? I don't care. I don't. So we need to fix the issues. I don't think they're going to, because this is who they are at this point. I don't care about the division right now. It's the farthest thing from my mind. I'm worried about what this team is. Who are they? What's their identity? Who are they moving forward? That's a way bigger issue than this current division today. 3-5-1. That's where they're at, and it sucks that they're in that spot. Now, I need to let you know about DraftKings. They have brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sports book based right here in the U.S., so you can rest assured that your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdraw at your convenience. Listen to this deal. All new users have a chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Download the app and sign up using promo code BRODES. Check out all that they have to offer, including player props, live betting, and so much more. If sportsbooks are not yet available in your state, don't forget about the DraftKings Fantasy app, which offers millions of dollars in total prizes every single week. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, what do we have next?
The biggest word to describe this team right now, lifeless. What is truly bad? It's the absence of good. And as of right now, there's nothing about this team that's exciting. There's nothing about this team that is even worth watching right now. I'll watch them because they're my favorite team, but it's a real chore. It's painful. It's a boring, agonizing experience. I know a lot of people are going to come for Jim Schwartz's head. I didn't think he had a good game. I thought he was shaky. He made Daniel Jones look like Lamar Jackson, but he's not the problem. Doug Pederson had a really terrible game, going for a 2-point conversion for no reason. Terrible play calls. Carson Wentz just looks completely average at best and extremely, extremely badly mediocre at worst. Like there's nothing about this team that is truly exciting. I'm not even angry at this point. It's just depression.
That's a great point. Depression is what has settled in to this Eagles fan base. And the Schwartz-Doug thing is interesting because the way I see it is you don't know what Doug Pederson is. You don't know what Carson Wentz is. That is troublesome. That is a problem. That scares me. That's a big picture problem. You really don't know the 2 most important pieces to your football team. Uh-oh. You're going to have to approach that conversation. With Jim Schwartz, he's had a bad game. He's had a couple bad games. This isn't his best season. All around, he's a good D coordinator. Not his best season, though. Doesn't really have a full position in linebacker. There's a lot in play. Doesn't have an outside corner opposite of Slay. That's a problem. So there are flaws in the roster construction, that is, defensively. But you know what Jim Schwartz is. You know what type of guy he is. You know his system. You know about the front four. You know how he operates. You might not like how he operates, but he has success with the system that he runs more times than not. So if you want to play analytics here, because analytics goes towards that 2-point conversion, and I'm an analytic guy, but that one was just stupid. You need to be more concerned about Doug Pederson and Carson, the head coach and the quarterback, more so than voice this frustration towards the defensive coordinator. He was a part of the equation, and he was a part of the problem with the loss. But you can totally see and know who Jim Schwartz is. I don't know if you can necessarily say that about the other individuals. And guess what? Those other individuals, they matter. They matter a lot. They matter a ton. They're extremely important. So what are you going to do, Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman? What's the game plan moving forward? It's going to be a tough decision.
Hey, you know what, Brodes? I think it's coming to the point where I might just be 100% out on Wentz, and I never answered that question before. You look around the league, and you see people like Tua. You see people like Joe Burrow. You see people like Kyler Murray. And you start to think, is it that hard to get this kind of talent? Like, of course, yes, it's that hard. It's wishful thinking. Of course it is. But is it, though? And it's really happening at such a clip right now where athletes are just so good. And the system is so optimized to pump out such good talent. Then is it wishful thinking to think that we can have better than Wentz? Because really, we deserve better than what he's putting on the field right now. And we deserve better than the explanations we're getting. Because really, with the same tools given today, again, I think that a Kyler Murray would have won this game today. I think that a Tua would have won this game today. And Wentz is older than these guys. Wentz is more experienced than these guys. Wentz has less excuses than these guys.
I don't know if I agree with that because to me, once again, I don't look at this game and go, Wentz. Now, Wentz sucked. I'm acknowledging that. But he sucked because the coach was just really putting him in bad spots. All right? I mentioned that Jalen Hurts thing. When Wentz actually had rhythm, here comes Hurts. Now it's 3-11 because the play gets thrown up. It gets blown up. It made me want to throw up. And then after that, you're running a play where it's a 1 or 2 yard out route. Where is the flow in this offense? No pre-snap movement whatsoever. How do you fool teams without pre-snap movement? I'm watching the league all over the place. There's so much creativity involved. And don't tell me that because Carson Wentz sucks so much that he's trying to simplify things. No. It dives deeper than that. This is who Doug Pederson is as an offensive mind. There's no creativity. There's no pre-snap movement. There is sometimes once in a blue moon, and then you never see it again. That's what teams do. That's what head coaches do to fool the defense. You're not even trying to fool the defense. You're going simple mode. Well, that isn't going to get the job done. I don't know if another quarterback steps in and wins that game with the same identity that they wanted to rock and roll with to start it. I mean, it flat out was an abysmal game plan and an abysmal approach. Now, yeah, you know what? The league is going in a different direction. But we question Lamar Jackson all the time. This dude can't win big games. And when you're down, this guy can't come back. And while Kyler Murray is exciting and while Tua is exciting, the sample size isn't big enough. Let's see 5 years because right now Carson Wentz is in his 5th year. If you talked about Carson Wentz in 2017 to a team that was struggling, you know what they say? Why can't we get a quarterback like Carson Wentz? Why can't we do that after seeing them play in 2017? And to be fair, those quarterbacks aren't even playing nearly to the level that Carson Wentz was, which was the best in football. So sure, I mean, the league is trending that way, but let's see 4.5 years of these players before we have the target that we have like we do with Wentz, because we're targeting Wentz now. This is the first time he's ever played this poorly. You would never have the opinion that you have now, last year, the year before, even though that there were times where it looked uglier than 2017. It was never to this degree, right? So keep that in mind. You're talking about a very short sample size versus a longer career for Wentz. Let's give them that 4.5-year window and see if you see a 6-game stretch where they are not good enough, where they're bad, where they're turning the ball over. Because I bet you there's going to be a time where some of these players go into a funk. But you got money tied up with Wentz. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you're with Wentz for right now. And that is the decision they're going with based off of being tied to him. All right, so this episode, our last sponsor here. Thank you so much, Orbit Energy and Power. This episode is sponsored by Orbit. With over 20 years of experience in the industry, they are home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. We're talking $0 electric bills. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. Their information is down below. There are so many more anytime hotlines to get to. A lot. No doubt, a lot. If you want to call in, 856-442-9805, I'll grab them and add them to the list. We will be utilizing them in a podcast probably tomorrow. We're going to keep this thing rolling. We're going to continue to react. There's a lot to get to. I love the passion and hearing from you all. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time.